Today I'm going to show you how to take parts from one machine to upgrade another. Now, both of these machines were going to get thrown out, so I decided to grab them for this tutorial specifically. So I'm going to just go over a couple different things you can check and a couple of different things you can do to actually take two really old machines and make a halfway decent current machine. So the first thing I did was I opened up both cases to see if they had the same motherboard, different motherboard, same parts, different parts, whatever the case may be. They actually do have two different motherboards. One has a motherboard from 2004 and the other one has a motherboard from 2005. Now, just because they're a year apart doesn't mean one is better than the other. I mean, usually it's going to be the newer one that's better, but you always want to check the motherboard number and Google it and actually get the actual specifications to see which board is better. Now, in this case, it did just so happen that the motherboard from 2005 is better, so that's the one we're going to go with. So let's crack them open and show you what we're going to be doing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is pick which case you want to use and which motherboard you're going to use. Since I don't care about how it looks so much, I'm not too worried about this little dent, and this is where the 2005 motherboard actually is. So I'm going to crack this open. I've already gone ahead and taken all the RAM out because I want to decide which RAM is the best for it. So hopefully we can maybe even take advantage of the dual channel that the motherboard does have. And I've already gone ahead and disconnected the side fan as well. So I went ahead and did open the case just to see what we're working with here. We do have 4 DDR2 slots, and luckily only 2 slots were taken up in this board and 2 slots were taken up in the other system. So I'm literally just going to be taking the RAM from the other machine and adding it to here. Now the downside that I noticed was this machine came with 2 gigs of RAM. The other one from 2004 only had 1 gig of RAM. So I'm going to be putting the matching RAM in each slot so we can take advantage of its RAM configuration. Now, a couple different things I've noticed here is, one, it's got a 56K modem. That we can most certainly take out. We are not going to be using that. That is just going to be wasting space here. And that I can go ahead and recycle. Also, this has a floppy drive and an IDE CD drive. I'm actually going to take both of those out because I am not going to need them. Now, I am going to use a CD drive to get the operating system on here, but I can always plug that up separately or use an external USB if need be. So, since I'm removing these, I'm kind of configuring it for a more modern machine. I'm also going to take the CD drive out. So now we have these big gaps that look kind of tacky. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take plates from the other machine and move them over to here as well. So let's go take some usable parts out of the other machine. So from the machine from 2004, I'm going to go ahead and grab the hard drive, some front plates, and the RAM. Probably should have disconnected it before doing that, but hey, it happens. So, as you can see, we've added the extra plates and it looks a little nicer and more professional. Obviously, we can take this out and realign this one, give it a nice clean, try to get some of the staining off, etc. But for the most part, this looks like a very professional looking machine. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to take the hard drive we took out of the machine from 2004, and we're going to actually put it directly below this and connect it via a SATA cable. Both had 80 gig drives in there, so now it has two 80 gig drives. And what I intend to do is actually set it for RAID 0, so it's using both drives and the speed of both drives to run the operating system. So we've boosted the performance with RAID and two hard drives, and we also boosted the performance with combining the RAM. We also took out parts that are no longer used, so it doesn't really take up any space or any memory whatsoever. We took out the CD drive, we took out the floppy drive, and we took out the 56K modem. So in all honesty, I would deem this machine set to go. I mean, obviously, before doing anything like this, I would recommend making sure you dust it out. Now, as far as talking operating system, that's entirely up to you. If you're just using it as a web browser machine, Windows is generally fine, especially since we just added 4 gigs and it does have a 3 gigahertz processor. You can probably get away with Windows 7 on it. If you want to do a couple of more modern things on an old machine, there are plenty of Linux distros. I know there's a lot of Linux lovers out there, which is awesome. But as far as which Linux version is best for you, I would try a couple different distros just to see which you prefer. I mean, Ubuntu is kind of always the default, and this machine's not too old to where it would need something like Puppy Linux or Damn Small Linux. Not trying to swear, there's actually a Linux distro called Damn Small Linux. Another thing you may want to do is check the wattage of the power supply. See if the power supplies are any different, see which one's a better power supply. Also, you may want to turn both machines on and check the fans for noise, because you most certainly would want to take the least noisy fans and put them in the machine you're going to keep. And as I said, depending on what operating system you go with will kind of determine what you can do with the machine. This really isn't going to be for gaming. However, if you do throw a decent video card in there, you may be able to do a couple things on low settings or medium settings. It all depends on the game. Also, we took out hardware we no longer need, such as I decided, you know what, for this I don't want the CD drive, I don't want the floppy drive, and most certainly not going to use the 56K modem anymore. Thank you for watching this information piece, kind of a tutorial, kind of not, on how to take two old machines and combine their resources to make a halfway decent machine. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to post them below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a great one.